You just took my peanut. Why did you just take my peanut? Good morning. Welcome all. My face is red. Sorry. I had a nice run and I've not finished cooling, which shows you how out of shape I am. Not how. Man, I'm really red. Wow. We're just gonna go with this look, okay? It's a clown episode, so what do you think? You think I would whoops? You think I would fit in the CIA? I should do a mic check and make sure volumes are well. Sound preferences, input. Whoa, way low. That's way low. Good morning. I bet you that's better. Good morning. Welcome to episode 75. We're gonna leave another peanut here for that guy in case he wants to come take another one. I bet audio's good. Good morning. You look great. Yeah. You probably missed why my face is so red. I should have finished my run sooner, so sorry about that. I have a beautiful head. Thank you, Chelsea. I appreciate that. Good morning, all. Great to see you guys. Thanks for being here. I've already got a super chat. Thank you. City of Maple Bear. Man, this is the second time. Love City of Maple Bear. I know it's more than second. What I mean is right from the beginning. Good morning. Beautiful day here in Michigan. Love it. Beautiful day here in Katua. Yeah. Happy Monday. Thanks for being here. We have quite a show for you. It's just me. There's like a red squirrel, a hummingbird every now and then. Let's talk about these clowns. It is hip. In fact, it's a requirement. If you're going to be in the truth community for a while, you're going to have to hate the CIA. It's a rite of passage. You are entrained into the resistance by understanding what CIA is, and you probably assume rightly that they're behind school shootings. Thank you, Callie. You probably rightfully assume that. You've seen school shootings around. And as you delve deeper, you keep reading that it's the CIA. So because you are hip to what's happening, or because you want to be hip to what's happening, you have them at the top of your list, right? This is the top of the shit list. In fact, some of you think that if the CIA wasn't there, America would be great and all of our problems would go away. In fact, when Trump took his job, inherited his job, the first place he went was to the intelligence agencies. Gave them a firm finger shake. And so we've always had this idea that clowns are bad. And I'm not here to say clowns are good, okay? We are here to challenge our aperture. And it's important that we look at the aperture of being a clown. And that's what we're going to do today. We are going to look at the 3-letter aperture of being a clown. Now, I'm going to assume that simply by doing this show, it's going to be made known that I am a clown. When I say made known, the people believe, we've been over this, people believe facts are real. People believe that there is a fact that you can place on the shelf and others can go and grab that fact off the shelf and take it with them and be like, hey, I got a fact today. And people will shit on belief all the time. And they've got this state of mind called knowing that they think is real. They think that knowing is a subscription service, right? You can subscribe to knowing, and now you know what's real. And then everything else is that's not knowing is belief or dogma or false. And that is really the true enemy if you think about it, of what's stopping us understanding this world and learning how to get along better. Because it's aperture. Aperture requires experience, which means that you cannot go to a shelf and grab a fact off the shelf. No. You have to go to a vista and place your psyche. You have to put your quarter in that viewfinder thing, that metal viewfinder, and for 3 minutes you get to have a fact that's only there when you put your eye up to the eyepiece. You are experiencing fact while that's happening. When it's done, you don't have fact. You don't. No, you don't. No. You make a quantum gamble that experience is going to be there the next time you come back. And there are definitely some good quantum gambles out there. There's some great quantum gambles out there. I can gamble that when I get up in the morning, the things that were in my fridge the night before will be there the next day. And most of the time, if not all the time, that's true. And because we get lazy, we decided to call that facts, and we decided to call it knowledge. And so we're living in a world where we believe that everything is made up of materialistic ball bearings of facts. And we either have the ball bearing or we do not. And that's really what makes us so stupid. And that's what makes us look at sad clowns and fear them and hate them and call them evil. It's part of this knowing system we have. And it's reinforced by everyone around you. As you enter the truth community, if you were to say, well, I don't know if the CIA is bad or after all, it's shill, and it begins. And you are cast out as a heretic of the truth fact cult. That's because that's what it is. There's a cult of people that insist things are true because they feel good. And think about it. They're going back to the experience, aren't they? They're actually going back to the experience because they're thinking that truth would feel... you could have said hi. You could have said thank you. Fucker. We virtue signal to each other. We create our clans based on who has agreed with what. And if anyone can bring corroborating evidence, it feeds that fire. It creates a symbiosis where we can share and say, I hate the CIA too. No one hates the CIA more than I do, says one person. And that person is now a soft cult leader. Soft cult. Okay, soft cult is not in writing. It's not official. But you have entered into a cult. Guys, cults are not... You think it's bad that I'm CIA? Cults are not that bad. Add that to it. We'll get a nice, beautiful video clip here of how shilled I am. The CIA is misunderstood, and cults aren't bad. Okay, what else can I? We'll just see what happens. Okay. Now, as these cults are established, how polite is that? He took a little moment to grapple. He's like, I don't grapple. As these cults are established, every day they get stronger. The reason why they get stronger is because, I've said this before, people don't like people because they're nice. They like people because they're predictable. And when you find a group of people that are predictable, you have cohesion. If I go out and have a shitty day, I might retreat to my cult and say something that I know that everyone will agree with. And I will do that because I'm looking for energetic cohesion. I'm looking for someone to come by and say, yeah, man, you're one of us. But we aren't honest enough where we can walk into the soft cult and say, hi, could you explain how I am one of us? I am feeling a little bit lacking in the one of us department. And it would really, really, really help me if you could make me feel comfortable. This is water cooler talk. This is the kind of talk that we have when we are at the same gym, people riding their own Peloton, people running together, right? People playing sports together, families, neighborhoods, communities, churches. All these are soft cults. And we are born into them. And we create them to identify ourselves. And then we're cast out of a soft cult or we join another soft cult. The entire experience is helping us paint our mind palace, our canvas, to decide who we are. And if we see our soft cult falling in front of us, we feel a loss. We feel like ourselves has been lost too. If you have a favorite team, you will feel the loss all week, just as you will feel the victory. It's an energetic gamble that you made. You made a gamble with that team, and you lost or you won. And it's either going to have a payoff or it's not. This is actually why we do this stuff. Let's see if he'll do that. I don't think he'll take. I think this is too much for him, guys. I don't know if he'll do that. I do not know if he'll do that. He's like, man, I just don't know about this. Fuck, how bad do I want that peanut? How bad? Right? It's like, I can't trust that guy. It's not worth it to him. It's not worth it, right? He's got too much. He's got too much of his own energy. Let's see if we can get him here. Oh, he wants it so bad. He wants it. I probably shouldn't be messing with him, should I? We'll leave it there. We'll leave it there and see if he takes it. Okay, sorry, I don't mean to waste. I don't know. Yeah. I would like for all of us to enter the soft cult of the CIA. Right now, I would like to indoctrinate all of us into the CIA of America, the Central Intelligence Agency. You have been recruited, and you are now a member. And you're an analyst. Your job is to analyze social media trends and to make recommendations to the boss on reports. And it's a boring as fuck job. You're mostly reporting on which media network seems to be having a higher social score when it comes to responses. Okay, and you're saying, well, CNN's doing freaking awful, boss. I mean if anyone's watching that, it's the people walking past them in the airport. I mean that's it. No one's watching it, and so they're looking for other avenues. They're always tracking. How do we get our ear? How do we get the ear of the American public? Because we're the Central Intelligence Agency. And all these black ops are in there. And you as a CIA agent have a special look into the world. As an analyst, let's say that you can pull up any file you want on the computer. And you can see all the crime as it exists in the government, and you're aware of it. You don't have rumors. You're not seeing tweets about it from some dude in a mask who you've never met. You have all the data right there on your screen. And for whatever reason, in our pretend scenario here, you know that this information is accurate. You know that if you could climb in the vista of each of these files and look out with a quarter, you would see exactly what that vista says. Let's just paint this picture, okay? And you love your country. You love your country so much that you joined the CIA. You didn't want to join the military because you weren't into the guns, maybe. You weren't into the just steal murder for fashion. You wanted to do something a little bit more complex. And so you've entered the CIA, and you've noticed how much crime is completely saturated the entire government. And you're trying to be a good guy. You're trying to do the right thing. And let's say that you go through your entire CIA career and you never do the wrong thing. You don't participate. I mean, you might steal some staples or Post-it notes, But you don't find yourself creating a cocaine distribution network through a plane out of Arkansas and flying back and forth to Colombia for 3 decades. That's not something that you ever were tempted to do. You have morals. You want to sleep at night. In fact, you know that most people in the CIA around you, the people that you work with, have good moral fiber. You've built a soft cult with them. You've worked out with them. You have a lot of experience with them. You know these guys. You trust them with your life. And you also know, as an analyst, you see all the social media shit talking you. You know that they blame you for Kennedy. They blame you for 9/11. They blame you for the drug war. They blame you for Clinton. They blame you for Mossad. They blame you. You're a bitch boy. You're a poster bitch boy. And you see all the corruption that's there. Now, to really sink this home, I'd like you to imagine that you are a clown. You are a clown that performs, and you're living on an island of meat puppets. The entire island is surrounded with meat puppets. People who will listen and believe you no matter what you say. And to test this, you begin to wear makeup that gets more and more outrageous. You begin to pull your hair into red strands and make it all crazy. You wear horns on your shoes. You have a big ass red nose. And you're riding a unicycle. And no matter what you say, people believe you. No matter what you say, they still subscribe and say, you are our guy. On this island of meat toys, we want you to entertain us. You have all of our attention. And so as you discover this, as the clown, you discover that, number one, you're on a pedestal. Everyone trusts you completely. Number two, no matter what you say, no one uses any discernment. No one gives a shit. You could steal whatever you wanted and just say, yeah, it was paperwork error. And everyone's like, oh. And so you learn to go along with this for a while. And for decades, you're apathetic. You're just like, man, these people are stupid. And so you don't really pay it much mind. Until you look out the window. And you look out the window and you see the future coming. You see off the coast of your island of meat puppets, you see a metallic, iron, rusty battleship steaming towards you. And when you look on that battleship, the call letters are NWO. And you see it there. And it's coming closer and closer. And every day you notice it. And every day you tell the people about it. But they think it's part of the story. No matter how hard you point, all they can do is look at your finger. All they can do is believe you. They're not capable of seeing this metallic battleship coming towards the shore. As a moral clown, again, this is a thought experiment. As a moral clown, you realize there's nothing you can do right now. You were stuck as a hero, an entertainer, someone that people listen to, but you can't actually get people to believe that what you're telling them is real. You just can't do it. And because you have morals, you believe in natural law. You don't believe that it's appropriate to interfere in these people's lives. These people all have free will. They're allowed to follow their free will notion in whichever way that serves them best. People are here to make mistakes. This is not a world where everyone has to get it right, and if someone doesn't get it right, we have to step in. That's not how this world works. It's the antithesis of how this world works, right? But you still see this giant NWO steamship coming right at your island. And you realize that once NWO gets here, the clowns that get off that boat are going to be very different. And your show's gone. Your show will disappear. When they get here, it will be a different kind of show. There will be a different level of clown. And you as the clown have no idea if these new clowns will even bond with the meat puppets. In fact, you've been reading some intel that they won't. You've been reading intel that this new group under the Himalayan Supervisory Organization isn't dedicated to people, isn't dedicated to the rule of law. They're dedicated to the protection for natural environment and animal habitats. That's what their focus is. And you see them coming to your island to start a new environmentally friendly habitat. And you've seen this for a while. And you sat on it a few days. And then you started talking to your other clown friends. And you're like, we got to warn the people. So you start warning the people, you start telling them. And they think it's part of the story. They don't see it yet. They're not able to understand. And one of your friends says, I have an idea. And you say, what? And the friend says, you're not going to like it. And you say, okay. And you see your clown friend pull out a 2x4. And he knocks the shit out of one of the meat puppets right in the face with it. Just boom. And the meat puppet falls over, gets up, and puts on clown makeup. He suddenly sees that there's a metal ship coming. He suddenly sees that there is a problem here. And maybe he doesn't go so far as to actually join you in the clowns. But he's now focused on this giant iron ship in the sea. And you as the clown go, damn, that's a dilemma. God, should I hit him? Should I take this 2x4 and smack it up one of these meat puppets' faces? Should I do that? Is that moral? Is that the good thing to do? It's really not. Because free will, blah, 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 blah. Everyone has their own time. We all awaken when we do. But damn, this ship's coming. And man, we could use a lot less meat puppets when that ship lands. Because when that ship lands, all they're going to do is turn to these new clowns and go, oh, it's a new show. This is great. I bet there's elephants on there. And it becomes a broader show where everyone just sits and watches. Unless you smack people in the face with a board. And it's a dilemma. But you do it anyway. And you do it so much that it becomes frustrating. Because you're trying to wake people up over and over and over again. And it just takes so long. You have to keep burning so many calories to get just a few of them to wake up. It's so frustrating. But you keep doing it anyway. And the whole time they're yelling at you saying you're the problem. The whole time all these other ops are flying around you. Ops that other CIA, other rogue clowns, right, have started. Ops, FBI, countries, right, mafia, corporations, whatever. You're surrounded by these games. Government's a leviathan, right? We know this. And if you've been in the Navy, if you've been in the military, you've been in a leviathan, any leviathan, you know that it doesn't have intelligence. A Jedi can walk right into the front door of the Death Star. And the Death Star doesn't know, right? It doesn't really understand. It's too big. It's too right? It doesn't have that kind of acute intelligence required to fix it. So you, as being in the CIA, you understand that you can walk freely throughout the Death Star. You can do a lot of things if you stay in the Death Star. And if you keep hitting people in the face with boards. So you start to hire agents. You start to recruit agents to put on clown makeup. And you start to tell them, I need you to go out and do this. I need you to go out and do this. I need you to go out and do this, this, this. And I need you to go out and do this. For those on the podcast, you're looking at Dr. I love that they made her a doctor. Dr. Waynel Sexton, second grade teacher of George Floyd. And then you're looking at a Sandy Hook substitute teacher. Then you're looking at an Orlando nightclub shooting survivor. Yes, Wendell Sexton was in the Orlando gay nightclub. She survived that. And then turns out that she was in the New York synagogue shooting. And she was in the Oklahoma church shooting. And she was a 9/11 first responder. And now, she's Dr. Waynel Sexton, the second grade teacher of George Floyd. And as you as the clown with the makeup on, you're now working with other clowns with the makeup on. Some of you are trying to wake people up. Others of you are trying to keep them asleep. Sometimes you have access to the television network, right? The Clown News Network, CNN. You can broadcast stories on CNN. You have access to that information. CNN is your fax machine. You can print things out of a printer, and one of those printers is CNN. That's part of what it means to be CIA. You get to release information. Remember when I was telling you about knowing? You get to release shit that people will come and pick up and go, oh, this is a fact. Yay, I got a fact today. I got a fact from CNN. So you install Waynel Sexton as a CNN fact.
You hung on to a drawing that George Floyd, who back then you called Perry, made along with an essay for 38 years, and you have it today with you. Can you show us this?
Yes, I can. Here's his drawing.
And tell us about this. What is this drawing, and what was your assignment?
Well, one of my favorite memories of Perry involves his report for Black History Month. Each day in the month of February, we studied a different famous Black American. And as a culmination to that study, I posed the question to my students, how will you impact the future? What will you do to make a difference? So in response, each student wrote a story or an essay called Future Famous Americans and described their aspirations.
And let me just read a portion of it for everybody in case they can't read it on the screen. So
Yes.
what George Floyd, again, who you at that time and his family called Perry, said was, when I grow up, I want to be a Supreme Court judge. When people say, Your Honor, he did rob the bank, I will say, be seated. And if he doesn't, I will tell the guard to take him out. Then I will beat my hammer on the desk. Then everybody will be quiet. Why was this? Why did this?
I will beat my hammer on the desk and everyone will be quiet. Waynel Sexton. All right, if you guys don't understand what that what that means, just download this video. Just move on. Because the board in the face is not hard enough. Now, I'm trying to insert an idea into you that there are actually quasi good people in the CIA. And I would submit that if you can imagine someone like Ben Franklin in the CIA, that this is precisely what he would do. He would put the truth out there in such a blatant way that it would only take just the deepest idiot to not see. That it would require a stretch of someone to go that far to not see. And just in case you don't, there's a cherry on top, and it's the name, Waynel Sexton. And this is the work of clowns. This is how clowns cream pie you. And sometimes that cream pie really hurts, and it feels like a board in the face. It's that instant, it's called Zen. If you actually know that the true meaning of Zen is instant enlightenment. It's not enlightenment through many years of study, right? It's instant enlightenment. It comes in a flash, and it requires this dramatic hit to the face that makes you see it. And the lesson is, thanks for Super Chat. Anal sex now, funny anagram. That's right. It doesn't even need to be an anagram, really, learning to fly. I mean, yeah, it's true, but it's like it doesn't even need to be one. If all the CIA was an evil organization that was here to truly enslave you and inject you with needles and kill you and destroy 90% of the population and enslave us all, that would be happening. That's not happening. What is happening is that CNN is reporting on free Waynel sex. And it's the exact same person. And these events that he's at, I don't think are real. And most of us don't think are real. And it takes a lot more calories to set up a school shooting and fake it. It's true. If you were truly evil, you were truly psychopathic, and you were truly what everyone says that everyone's supposed to be, who's out to get us, it would be easier, it would be less calories, and it would send a stronger message to actually do that. It would insert more trauma. But to stage it, I don't think you guys understand how much you're putting at risk by creating an op that's fake and inserting it into media. If enough people found out, that's like it's time to waterboard some clowns on the island, right? That becomes unacceptable under the idea that we are controlled by a regime that is here to destroy us, but we're just so resilient they're not able to do it yet. Because if it truly is this fantasy that we need, that the Hottentots are coming to get us and they're here to enslave us all, we'd already be there. It would only take one vaccine. It would only take one to sterilize you, not 72. And after they sterilized you, they could sell you back your own seed. They could sell you the privilege to have your own seed again. And once they did that to everyone, you own the population. Well, James, there's no way they would do that to everyone because they would only be able to get away with like 20,000 people. Then no one else would be able to do it. And it's just like, dude, have you not looked at the Cutter incident? Have you not looked at the very, very, very first polio vaccine that was introduced to America? It's called the incident was called the Cutter incident. 20,000 people contracted polio as a result of that vaccine. If these people wanted to sterilize us, they could have done it then. The swine flu in the 70s, 79, I think. Again, 24,000, something like that. Massive cases of swine flu as a result of that vaccine. This is not a system where someone comes running out of the water like a hungry alligator and chases the antelopes with a syringe, and all of us are just too clever to run away. It's not how it works, guys. Island of Meat Puppets means a creature from the Black Lagoon can step out of the water and literally say, I want to inject someone. And Meat Puppets will bend over and show their ass and say, right here, I'm first. I will do it. That's the population. You can say, oh, I'd never do that. That's fine. But you're not looking around. You're not seeing what's truly out there. You're not seeing your neighbors, your brethren. The reason why you're not seeing that is because you're under the impression that CNN is being injected into the populace while the populace resists. And that's not what happens at all. The CNN op works because the population likes it. They like this story. They like being meat puppets. And that's why the clowns have to hit you in the face with a board. It's a necessary part of the ritual to wake you up. It has to hurt. If it doesn't hurt, you're just going to keep taking more CNN. I realize some of you are like, dude, I'm watching, it's not fair. You know what I mean. I'm talking about the overall, all of your neighbors. Anyone in the city, anyone wearing a mask, anyone saying Black Lives Matter, anyone pushing for Floyd, anyone who's hoping for a national police force, anyone who believes that nurses dancing TikTok are saving lives. These people don't have to be fooled. These people will believe anything because they need that. They need a fact ice cream truck to run around and distribute facts to them. They need someone to tell them, this is a world of facts, and here's one. They want to say thank you. Now I don't have to go experience that. I don't have to discern it. I don't have to process this at all. Do you know how many calories it is for me to wonder if the people that are entertaining me are bad or good? Do you know how many calories it would be for me to entertain myself? It's a negotiation that most of us have made with this machine. And we make that negotiation not because it's forced on us. We make that negotiation because it feels good. It tastes good. And that's why, despite the Cutter incident, despite the swine flu epidemic, despite, holy shit, guys, I think it's in the millions how many people in Africa we've killed by claiming they had HIV. It's so many. And they just keep coming. And we keep saying, yes, we should have more of these. We're giving a sexually transmitted disease vaccine to an infant when it's born. That's what we're doing. So can we stop with the bullshit about man is too resilient to be stopped by these clever predators who just are always on our heels, but we're just always one step ahead? Can we stop that shit today? Can we stop pretending that that's what's happening? Because it's not. And if it was happening, school shootings would be real. And if it was happening, we would not see a video of Silverstein saying, so I just said to pull it. I just said pull it. Pull it. And Building 7 fell. There would not be video of Building 7 falling. Sorry, there would not be video of Building 7 still standing on the news as the lady said it fell. Guys, that is a board in the face. Building 7 is a board in the face. Sandy is a board in the face. And boards in the face have to hurt. Bam, they have to. If they don't hurt, you're not going to fucking learn, man. You're not going to learn. You're actually going to think you can take punches. If your sensei's there just like, oh, I got you. Right? And you're just like Ira's like, I'm learning to box. And he's like, that's not going to teach you shit. You need to be bam! And then just be like, holy fuck, this guy's really here to hit me. He's like, you're damn right I am. Bam! And what's that? You're up. You're ready to go, man. You're ready. You're ready. You are not a meat puppet anymore. And if you can see what's coming, This is a Carnival Cruise Line of NWO. And when it gets here, people are going to fucking beg for it. They're going to beg for it. They already are. And what I see when I look at the CIA is a bunch of clowns going, man, I wish these people would say no. I really wish that they would say no. I can't make them say no, but I can certainly try and teach them to stop buying into all the bullshit. Now, you can call these people clowns, you can call them Masons, you can call them Illuminati, and you can curse all those people. You can say, no, those are the very sources of the evil that's here to kill us, James. It's Trump who's here to save us. It's the Illuminati that's here to kill us. It's the Luciferians that are here to kill us, but Trump is here to save us. And I'm just like, do you have any idea of how fucking high you are right now to say that? It's like, Trump's not a clown, James. Trump wouldn't be as evil as the clowns. There's no way. And I'm like, Trump wears orange makeup every day. Every day he looks like that. But that's what a meat puppet would say. A meat puppet would say, watch out. That clown's trying to kill you with that cream pie. Quick, let's run to that orange guy with the face who says everything's going to be okay. That's what happens every day. And just like you're trying to wake people up, why is it so insane to assume that there are not other people trying to wake people up? Why is it so insane to assume that someone on the Death Star might have actually woken up one day and go, this place is insane. We just fucking killed Alderaan. Yeah, we brought the white chick with the weird headphones on, it made her watch, and we frickin' blew up her planet. I don't want to blow up planets. I'm gonna do something about this. Why is that so insane to think that that's true? Because I think what's insane is pretending that there's this word called evil. Ugh. I believe that if you could have enough rendering power inside your skull, that you could send your prana out into someone else who you're calling evil, and you would be able to turn around and look from their cockpit, from their vista, and see why, from their view, they feel like they are doing something good. And I'm under the impression that if you can do that, if you can have that sort of compassion, not consent, you will be able to thwart their plans. You will be able to stop them, but it's never going to work if you call them evil. You're not going to understand their motivation, which means you're not going to be able to prevent it from happening. And a good way to start that, I think, is with the CDC. Now, if someone was to ask me, how does the CDC view vaccines? This is probably the best video I've ever seen CDC put out about what vaccines are really like. Let me see if I can find this. Here it is. Make sure you guys can see this. Let's see here. Yeah. This is what vaccines are. And I want you to imagine that there are 72 of them. This is how meat puppet we are. Come on.
The beast lies somewhere in the stump. Choose a passage.
No way.
Coward.
Let's do it.
These are vaccines.
Must be my lucky day.
This is germ theory, guys. This is how they got germ theory. It's a virus.
What would Aura think of you now?
Second down. Your play.
No. Yours.
Are you sure these are the rules?
They've just been changed.
That's the CDC. And you've agreed to play the rules because they called you a coward. And because you felt you were broken, you believed when someone calls you a coward. And so you do what anyone would do who has no ego. You stick your hand in the hole. And you get a vaccine. And since you've done it once, now you're challenged to do it again. And again. And again. And it's so weird that people don't see how vaccines are just like this scene. Because if you read the label, it tells you exactly what's going to happen to you. You already know what's involved. But the meat puppets still take it. They still want it. All of us have fallen for these tricks. None of us are immune. If there was ever a true concept of biblical God, if God himself was to truly have a definition of the word sin, like if he could pick one thing to say sin, I think it would be taking a vaccine. I think it would be the idea of telling a clown, I trust you more than my own body, more than my own God, more than my own discernment, more than my own judgment. And you stick your hand into the stump. Now, Flash Gordon in this scene is the hero. But he's a fucking idiot. I mean, first of all, Green Dude knows the stump, right? So he knows which hole he can put it in. Second of all, Flash starts the scene by saying, I'm not doing that. I don't want a vaccine. And the green guy's like, coward. Coward. And what does Flash do? I'm going to show you I'm not a coward. And he does it. And then once he's done it, he's initiated in the ceremony and he feels obligated to play. And what happens? He changes the rules. Flash is already evacuated. He's already lost. He's already said, CDC, I think you're valid. I think that this is a fair system that we have where we stick our hand inside a fucking stump made by a proprietary organization that has swine parts, aborted fetal cells, aluminum, marketed mercury, and everything else in there. Because I'm a meat puppet and I think this makes sense. And as long as someone else is doing it, and as long as I might lose virtue for not doing it, I will do it. I will follow suit. It's even what we call our heroes are meat puppets. And I ask yourself, who's the bigger clown? Is this guy the clown? Or is it the guy that sticks his hand in? Flash got COVID-19 He got COVIDed. He got COVIDed in the trunk. There's no winning as a meat puppet. Now, I'd like for us to exercise our compassion right now. I believe that some of you have already exercised it a lot simply by trying to extend it to the clowns and the CIA. So I want to commend you for getting this far. And I'd like to push you further. I would like for you to consider how it must look to be a farmer. You are farming, you have chickens, you have goats. You are going to eat some of those chickens. You are in charge of those chickens. Those chickens look up to you. Those chickens need you. You are their rancher, you're their herder, you're their shepherd. You control the chickens by making sure that they're healthy. If one of them, you control their population. And to control their population, you cull them. And the chickens that you choose to cull are going to be the chickens that do not fit the mold as well. Eugenics. Now, eugenicist is someone who believes that the population is a ranch. And that there is a need for a shepherd, there's a need for a rancher. And that rancher needs to cull the population. In fact, if you were to view this world as a giant animal farm, you would want to install a system of culling. You would want to have a system in place where you could cull the population. If you believed in the environmental stuff, if you believed that man is a poison to the environment and that man doesn't belong here, man is not a piece of nature, right? That man is an infection. If you believe in the germ theory of the land itself, that man is the COVID virus, you would look at culling as a healthy alternative. You would look at it like a firefighter who does a controlled burn. And you would take a certain percentage of that population and you would say these people have to go. And then you would be a psychopath, right? You would be a murdering psychopath. You would be evil. You would be taking liberty, someone else's liberty, into your own hands and acting on that. And you would try and justify it, whatever. And, mostly you would find that a lot of psychopaths like to hide inside of eugenics. And when you look at what Planned Parenthood is, when you look at what World War I and World War II are, when you look at the Himalayan Supervisory Organization's goal of making the world safe for environmental protection, you are entering the world of eugenics. And if you want to understand these people, you don't have to understand them. You could just say they're all evil, fuck them. And I get it, that's cool. But I want to stop this. So to stop it, I'm going to use my compassion. I'm going to try and put it into their mind. I'm going to see, how does this work? So you roll out a guillotine. The king rolls out a guillotine. It's shiny. It says made with taxpayer dollars. And he rolls it to the center of town. And there's a big sign above the guillotine that says, this guillotine is safe and effective. And everyone in the village is afraid of witches. They're all terrified of witches. And the king knows that because everyone fears witches, anyone is going to be able to walk in and offer a solution to witches and use that to sell and control people. And the king wants in on that too. So the king rolls out a guillotine. And that guillotine says safe and effective. Protect yourself from witchcraft. And on a smaller sign underneath, it says, if you place your head in this wooden hole, you risk having your neck cut. That neck cut could lead to further injuries. And to get on the guillotine, you have to drop a piece of silver into the bucket before you walk up on the plank. And when you walk up on the plank, you can use the guillotine. Now, I know many of you think no one would do that. But hopefully enough of you think, yeah, people would do that. Hopefully enough of you see that people do that every day. And hopefully you'd see that people want to do that. Hopefully you'll see that meat puppets, they want something that's safe and effective against witchcraft. Because they believed in it. Because they've adopted this. Because they took that fact off the shelf, took it home, and said, hey, look, witches are going to come kill us. We're fucked. What are we going to do? It's like, did you hear about the new guillotine? No one who's ever used the guillotine has ever complained about witches. Wow, that's impressive. If you were the king, you were the farmer, you were the eugenicist, and you realized that all it took is for you to roll a guillotine out and charge it mission, and people would cut their own fucking head off, I need you to ask yourself, where is the morality lying here? Is there ever a point in your mind, is there ever a point in your mind where you think that maybe this was the meat puppet's fault? The person that joined the guillotine and paid admission. And I know it's easy to say, no, it's never their fault because the king did it and the king would take care of that guillotine and remove it out of the way. This wouldn't happen. But you're not a stupid king, because you know that if the guillotine's not there, it's just going to be another system. There's just going to be another guillotine there. There's just going to be this. There's just going to be that. It's unstoppable. It's the reason why I'm telling you this is because there are people, whether you like it or not, that believe this shit. Bill Gates is not a fresh arrival on the eugenics shore, right? His parents were deeply involved in Planned Parenthood. And we can't see exactly what it's like to be in his mind, but we know what it's like to be evacuated. And when you put someone that's evacuated in a room with billions and billions of dollars, he's going to say, what can I do that's really important that helps the population? And if you wait long enough, you're going to find a eugenicist. You're going to find one of those there. You're going to find someone that's like, yeah, I should do that. And the reason why I'm telling you that when I'm talking about clowns is because if you can believe that a eugenicist is there culling the population, you can also believe that there are clowns there wandering through the streets with cricket bats, smacking meat puppets right in the face, hoping to God they'll wake up. And if you want to call them cruel for doing that, I don't know if that's possible. What I'm getting at is that there's no longer a moral line. How can you have a moral line when you're dealing with a meat puppet? This is really the essence of what I'm saying. You'd be making the same mistake. Check this out. You'd be making the same mistake that a pedophile makes by pretending that someone who's too young to consent could consent. So we have to do other techniques. We have to find other ways to wake people up, says the clown. We have to look for other solutions to this problem because things are not going to be pretty if this island remains occupied by meat puppets. It's already getting less and less pretty right now. Who are our heroes right now? Here's our heroes.
It's not enough, but it's a start.
This is a police chief.
We are in this together. Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Chief.
That's Police Chief Michael Shaw. He's laying on his belly with his hands behind his back while people cheer for him, giving him virtue for laying down, for turning himself into a snake in public. And I ask you, does that man have ego? If he had a strong enough will, strong enough ego, would he do that? I would like for you to imagine that you are that guy's son. And you're watching your father lay down on his belly, on the ground, for praise, for acceptance. What does that feel like to your DNA? How do you carry that on? Because what that is an inversion ritual. This is how you turn yourself inside out. You shed your pride in exchange for reputation. And you hope to God your reputation will outlast, not outlast really. You build your entire self off your reputation instead of your pride. And if you get down on your belly today, you're going to have to get down on your belly tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day. And the entire time, what made you get down on your belly? Fucking Waynel Sexton did it. Dr. Waynel Sexton made you get down on your belly. Which means Police Chief Michael Shaw is a fucking meat puppet. And the person in charge of your safety, the person that you're supposed to say, oh, we don't need guns because we have cops. He's not a cop. He's laying on his belly, hoping people like him so he can get up and be chief again. The controllers don't want to hold us down. Meat puppets look for a subscription service that they can subscribe to that gives them the excuse to lay on their bellies so they don't have to work as hard. That is the true essence of the island of meat puppets, where we are right now. And we need this organization so we don't have to get up. But this is a valuable service this cop is providing us. He's letting us all lay down, isn't he? He's showing us all that laying down is the right thing to do. Wearing a mask, spray painting Black Lives Matter everywhere. There is a science to evacuation, and there's a science to filling yourself back up again. And the more shame rituals you go through, the more false shame rituals you fall for, the harder it is to get back. It takes a lot of ego to admit you were a fool. If you have no ego, you'll never admit you're a fool. You'll say everyone else is a fool. Or you'll say it's the controllers coming to get me. They made me into a fool. It's always been Waynel Sex. It's always been this
You
shit.
hung on to a drawing that George Floyd, who back
It's
then
never
you
not
called
been this
Perry,
shit.
made, along with an essay for 30.
It's always been this shit. News didn't used to be realer. It's always been this way. And it is time to wake the fuck up, isn't it? It is go time. I can see why people are frustrated. And the more compassion you have for that aperture doesn't mean that you're going to be able to tolerate it more. I mean, actually, you will be able to tolerate it more. But it actually gives you the ammunition you need to fucking cream pie that guy. Because you're no longer looking at him as, well, that guy's evil, that's why he's doing it. No. He's calorically frugal. He's energetically, calorically frugal is what he is. And that's what we have to do. That's our work. That's our work. In a way, we are all part of this militia of trying to expose people to the facade. Trying to get people to stop sticking your hand in the fucking stump. You don't have to even do that. It's after a while, some of us are going to stop being polite about it and start smacking people in the face. And I think that's what's happened in part of the CIA. Same within part of Freemasonry. Same as in part of Illuminati or whatever else. Same as in part of people on the Death Star. If you want to feel better, understand this. There are clowns afoot. And not all of them are here to enslave you. There's a lot that aren't. And they're doing some really, really precise techniques. Building 7 was a huge event, guys. 9/11, that was a colossal psyop. And I think those buildings were empty. I do think firefighters died. I think policemen died. I think that if you wear a uniform and you serve as police force or as firefighters, that you have already sacrificed yourself to the machine. And as part of that machine, people who have controls to pull those levers consider you fodder. It's no different than a king. A king doesn't view his warriors as, oh, that's Stan, that's Doug, there's Carl. Carl just had twins, that's Leon. It doesn't work that way. It's how many men am I going to lose? 178, sir. Yeah, let's do it. That's where you're at. How many chickens am I going to lose? We're going to have to kill 5 chickens. Okay. Which chickens you want me to get, boss? Well, just pick the ones that are dumb. Yeah. Pull the chicken guillotine out, and whichever ones walk up to it, those are the ones you kill. Well, that's easy. You think they'll do that? Yeah, they'll do it. They will. It's a lot of meat puppets out there, right? Let's make it a good week. Let's see who we can wake up. Let's see what kind of clowning we can do to help others see the truth of Free Waynel Sexton. I hope this has helped. I really do. This is the summer that we are the forefathers of our land right now. All of us are. And the only ones that are going to be able to put calories in are the ones that are awake. Thank you for being awake. Thank you for using your aperture. Thank you for bringing your compassion, your aperture, like a rifle, to this fight. Thank you. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. Looking forward to it. Take care.